Okay, excellent. So hopefully now that we've gotten that out of the way, session 3 will run a little bit smoother than session 2 did yesterday. We had a couple of little glitches, but you guys were fantastic. You stuck in there with me and we got through it, no problems. So today we are going to go over some of the actual setup of our Canvas pages. So we're going to go over how to set up an assignment again. We're going to create quizzes. We're going to use rubrics. I'm going to show you guys how to use the speed grader, which is going to be your new best friend. And we are going to do a little bit of homepage setup. So that's an awful lot to get through in one day. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. And here we go. So I'm going to go back to the sandbox that we had created earlier. And we are going to start with creating an assignment. So we're going to do assignments and quizzes today. Those are the two things that you're going to use the most in your Canvas. Now there's two ways, there's actually several ways to create an assignment. You can come to the assignments page and you can create an assignment with the plus assignment button. You can also, as you're building your modules, so remember yesterday when we were talking about the modules being your lesson plan, as you fill in your lesson plan, you can create a module. So we will call this week 1 module. And then you can start building your assignments within here. So you can build your assignments as you fill in your lesson plan and then go back in and edit the assignments. The third way to create an assignment is to go into your calendar from the home screen. So on your dashboard, you've got your calendar. And so let's say if your lesson plan, if you go off of a district pacing guide, this works very well because you can just go to August 1st Monday, click on that Monday, and you can create an assignment directly from there. So you can say this is going to be math, Monday's assignment. Make sure that you put it in the correct class. I don't have any rostered. My sandbox isn't rostered, so it's not pulling up here. But you can go ahead and put that in one of the courses that you have rostered with students. So you can create the assignments directly from here once you get those Infinite Campus rosters. This makes it, I like using the calendar once I get my courses up because it makes it very easy to make small adjustments. So let's say we have a weather day. So if you look at your calendar, let me see if it still has. Okay, so here's some assignments that we had before the shutdown. So let's say I had radicals on the 18th and Pythagorean on the 19th, and we had a weather day. I can simply take this assignment that I've already created and drag it to a new day. And that makes it super easy to take all of your lessons and readjust. Okay, and again, if you want more details on using assignments through the calendar page, you can go to the Canvas guides and that will help you set those up. All right. Let me go ahead and make sure that everybody is still muted. Okay, so from the sandbox, we've created an assignment through our modules. And so now we're going to edit that. So we've already created it. Notice the module is not published and the assignment is not published. In order for the students to see that or for it to show up on my calendar, I want to make sure that I go ahead and just check these boxes to make sure that they're published. Once they're published, the students can see them. All right, so let's think about an assignment that we might want to create for an elementary setting. Remember, we have this rich content editor again that's going to pop up. This is our blank page. We can do a couple of things here. We can add a file that the students can view. We can also just give written instructions. We can put a video. We can add links to other websites. Anything that you can do with that standard homepage, we can do here in the rich content editor. So let's take kindergarten count or first grade counting class. So one of the things that I've done is I've gone to mathaids.com and I've printed out just a very simple worksheet. So here's just a very simple addition worksheet. The only problem is this worksheet also has the answers attached to it, and I certainly don't want to put that entire file for the students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this, but I'm going to print it just to a PDF. So instead of printing it to a printer, I'm going to print to Microsoft Print to PDF. This is a default on all computers now. And I'm just going to print page 1. I'm going to save that as a PDF file, and then I can add that to my assignment. So I'm going to insert a file. So that's going to be a document. I don't have it uploaded already. I just have it saved to my computer. So I'm going to upload the document. And then I'm just going to select it from my Windows Explorer, just like normal. And that's going to attach it as a PDF. Okay. Hold on. Oh, it's switched to a screen. Hold on just a second. I'm not sure where that went. My Zoom screen kind of got in the way. Sometimes you also pay. There it is. The Zoom pictures were covering the submit button. Okay, so now this is a clickable link. Okay. So what we're going to do is now we want the students to be able to see it. So after we've added it, we can click on it and select option. And we can go ahead and we can automatically open an inline preview. This is what's going to help for your students who are on tablets or cell phones. It will automatically open up the PDF so they don't have to save it or click open or anything else. So now that we've done that, we're going to go ahead and set up. This is going to be worth 100 points. We're going to allow them to submit it online. Best thing for you guys for something like this is going to do file uploads, media recordings, or text. So if they have a camera on their phone, they can take a picture of it and submit it. If they can save it to a PDF file, if their parents are super tech savvy, they can do that. Or they can just type the answers in a text entry box. I usually allow all 3 just because we don't know what technology they have at home. All right, and then here you can assign this to individual classes. So for instance, on this particular course, I've added several, I've cross-listed several different courses. So these course sections here would be like first period, second period, third period, or math, science, reading. So you would pick the individual group that you wanted to assign that to, or for this one, I'm just going to assign it to everybody. I would add that due date so that it pops up on the student's calendar, super important for that. And I'm going to leave this until blank so that they can go back at any time, even if they were absent for an extended amount of time, and still have access to this assignment. All right, so we're going to go ahead and create this assignment. We're going to save it. We've already published it. And now you'll see that preview pop up. So this is what the students would see for that assignment. So they would see this, that they could either print out or they could just write the answers on a separate sheet of paper. And then when they submit it, they can submit it either with a text or a picture. All right, now we're going to do rubrics. So we can add a rubric to any of our assignments, and you can create these using your own standard rubrics, or you can use standards-based grading. You can use the state standards in these as well. So let's just go over a few of them. So we're going to call this our math rubric. And we can add criteria. So let's say the first criteria is going to be name. We want them to put a name on their paper. And so we're going to give them 5 points for putting their name on the paper. No name, they get 0 points. Remember, we still want them to follow standard procedures. So even though they're submitting these on their Canvas account and we know who submitted them, you want to make sure that they still do things like put their name on it, put the date on it, especially at the high school level, that gets really important. So you don't have a single piece of paper being passed around, submitted a bunch of times. You can also add ranges. So let's say they put their name on their paper, but maybe it's, for your kids, it's misspelled. Okay, so we give that a partial score of 3 points. So you can create as many different levels of this rubric as you want. You can also add state standard outcomes. So if you're doing kindergarten through second, pre-K through second, and you're doing standards-based grading, here's one that I've gone through and added for mine. And this is the geometry, one of the two-dimensional geometry, lines, points, planes. And so I have that added. So I'm going to go ahead and import that criteria into my rubric. And same thing, it has exceeds, meets, or does not meet expectations. So this is how you can add some of those state standards into your rubrics. So we're going to go ahead and save this. All right, and now I'm going to show you what it looks like from a student side of it. So we are going to go to the home page. Do I have assignments? Let me go ahead and make assignments visible real quick in settings so we can see those. So I'm just going to go back to what I did yesterday, and I'm going to re-enable assignments just so that I can see that. Don't forget to save. All right, so now we're going to go to student view. The students now see assignments. And so here's the Monday math assignment that we just put in. So if we click on this, they will see that preview that we've already loaded. It will tell them that you can submit a text box entry, a media recording, or a file upload. It will show the students the rubric that you've assigned. Remember, rubrics are optional. It's not necessary, but if you have a rubric, the students will be able to see it as they complete the assignment, and that's going to help them ensure that they have all of the portions of the assignment that you're grading. So they would work that out and they would submit their assignment. So let's say that they are going to do a text entry. So they can do number 1 is 5 plus 9. Number 1 is 14. Okay, and then they can do number 2, and they can fill that out and submit their assignment. They could also come over here to media, and they could record or upload media. So if they're doing this on their phone, they can take a picture of the assignment, or they can take a video. If you have kids that you want them to recite the ABCs or do skip counting out loud, they can record the media, or they can upload a file. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a text entry, submit the assignment, and they get this fun little confetti. And whether they do it on a phone or a tablet, that's what you need to model to the students. It's not submitted until you see confetti. So you know that it actually went through, and it'll save the submission details. So now let's leave the student view. Now we're back in our own Canvas. So this is the teacher side of it. Now we're going to grade it. Okay. So there's a couple of different ways that we can do that. One way, and this works out really well, is on our dashboard. As you go through and do these, you will notice that you'll have grading that needs to be done. You need to grade a test or grade an assignment. Okay, so this one just came in, grade Monday math. So that tells me someone's turned it in. And this is where I always went to grade papers, because it made sure that if a student turned in something late, I didn't miss that assignment. So I can click straight from here and it will take me to that assignment. So here on the left is that text that the student entered. I can do a plain text view as well. And then I can just simply grade it. Okay, they've got all the answers. They get 100 points. They missed 10% of them, so they got a 90. Or I can view the rubric and I can grade straight. Now this makes it super easy because you're going to be able to just click, all right? So first one, they got full marks. Second one, they had their name on the paper. Oh, they didn't have their name, they got 0 marks. Last one, they did all of the addition correctly. They got full points for that. It automatically adds up all of the rubric points and assigns that grade to the assignment. So you don't have to add things up. You don't need your little paper grade slider anymore. It automatically calculates the points based on the rubric that you built. You can add comments to the students, and I found this super helpful over the distance learning because it is attached to that assignment, and the observer, the parent observer, can also see these comments. So if you have a student that submitted a bunch of blank papers because they wanted their mother to see that they've submitted a bunch of stuff, you could put here, please attach assignments, or great job, or watch out for regrouping. So this is a great way to give immediate feedback to the individual student. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of students and a lot of sports, and so I spend a lot of time on the sidelines or in my car waiting for practices. I like to actually use the speech recognition to do this, because I can sit there on my phone, pull up the assignment, and instead of having to type on my phone, which is always difficult, I can simply record and go, great job on this assignment. And it's automatically going to transfer that. Oh, I'm using my microphone already for Zoom. It didn't hear that. But normally it would transfer that into text recognition, and you can just sit there and go through and do all of your comments very quickly. You can even record a video of you leaving some feedback for the students. So if it's littles and you want to do a nice little, hey, that is a great job, you know, round of applause, and just give that personal feedback, that video is very, very helpful. Okay, so this is the speed grader. This speed grader is going to make things so beneficial for you. So let me show you the grade book. This little notebook over here on the corner. Let me show you how to get to this a different way. All right, so I showed you how to enter the grading from the rubric on the right-hand side. You can also go to the grade book directly from your Canvas course. So on your main navigation page, you'll see grades here on the left, and this is your teacher grade book. So you can see we had a test student that entered in the Monday math assignment. We gave it a 90% grade. So this is your Canvas gradebook. Now you have some options here. If you combine multiple courses into one, you will see all of your students listed. However, if you want to look just by individual class, you can arrange these by module, you can arrange the assignments, but we're going to filter by section, okay? And being able to filter by section will allow you to separate this out into first hour, second hour, third hour, or if you're a contained class, English, language, science. So you can just pick one individual section and grade just those students. So that filter is going to be very helpful. Now, once you're in here, you can choose your assignment. Here's another one that was submitted prior to this. And you can go straight to the speed grader from there, and it will allow you to look at all of the different submissions for any assignment. Okay? So again, this particular one, we had a rubric that we created. We can grade the assignment, we can add a comment, and then up here is where we can switch from one student to another. So all of your students will show up under here, and you can switch from each student. So this is a JPEG. So the student filled this homework assignment out. They took a picture of it on their phone, and they submitted it as a JPEG. So we were able to grade it and leave a comment and go on to the next student. Okay? So this is a super fast way for you to go through a lot of different submissions, and it allows you to receive submissions a lot of different ways depending upon the technology that your students have. Okay?
Wendy,
Yes.
so when you say you're grading it, there's no way to actually write on the page or write on their paper. The only thing you could do is leave things in the comment. Is that correct?
Yes, as of right now, we don't have the ability to ink directly through this. I wish that were the case, but now, depending upon if you use Google Forms or some of the Google apps with this, that is a possibility, but that's going to have to be a different course. Let's see. that is about it for the speed grader. So do we have any more questions on the speed grader? Okay, someone did say that they are able to ink with their Windows Surface. So I've got a Surface, I'll check on that one, and I can put an update if that's the case. That would be great.
I have a question, Wendy.
Yes, Shelley.
Are we able to link it to IC now?
Yes.
Yes,
So
okay.
when you set up the assignment and you go in and you edit.
Sorry, I got in late because it didn't want to let me in. So.
No problem. When you create the assignment, at the very bottom, you're going to make sure that your Sync to Infinite Campus is checked.
Okay.
And then there's a couple more steps, and those we're going to send those out to everybody at the beginning of the year once you get your rostered classes so that you can see exactly how that works. The syncing, we were having a little bit of difficulty at the beginning of the year with syncing at the secondary levels, but that's supposed to all be resolved. So if you've heard some, syncing didn't work very well last year, I think we've got most of that resolved. We are going to confirm with some of the contained classes. We've got to make sure that the sync works correctly when you're doing multiple subjects, because each section is going to go to a different subject. But as of right now, we believe that that's all going to work without any problems. So that's going to cut down your time considerably. It's going to allow you to not have to take stacks of paper home. And so as you continue to learn how to use this, even in the classroom setting, when we weren't in distance learning, we would use this and the students would either have, I would have an iPad or a Google Chromebook set up, and the students could come and take a picture of their assignment and turn it in, or I would have the students take a picture with their personal devices. So for the younger elementary kids, you might think about ways that you can integrate this into some of your centers or your station rotation that you do throughout the day. You might be able to get an iPad set up where they can do a math activity or a writing activity and then just take a picture of it and submit it to your Canvas. So these are the little things that you can do throughout the day to kind of model this as you go through everything. Okay, let's take a look at some quizzes. So again, with the quizzes, you can set them up in the same way. You can go directly to your quizzes tab and you can create a new quiz. You can go through your module as you're creating your lesson plan, and you can create a new quiz through this. So in this module, I would click plus, and then instead of an assignment, I'm going to add a quiz. And so that's basically my placeholder. And then I would simply come in here to edit this quiz. You can also add a quiz from the calendar, but that's going to wait for a second and make sure that you, once you have your rostered students. Okay, so it tells me this quiz is unpublished. So only you can see it until it's published. To publish it, you'll just click this green button up here. All right, and now we're going to edit this quiz. Now, the quizzes are going to give you a couple of different options. You can create a quiz on its own. You can simply come in and add questions to your quiz. And it's again got that rich content editor. So each question can contain text that you type, videos that you sync, pictures that you import from other sources, a bunch of different ways that you can assign these, create these quizzes. Very interactive, very multimedia. Or you can just put a very simple statement. And then this is multiple choice. So you would put all of the possible answers, and then it automatically defaults to the first one being the correct one. You can change that by simply clicking on whichever answer is correct. You can also set these to where they shuffle the answers. So if you're creating one of those quizzes and you want to model it, say in the computer lab one day, then you can make sure that students that are side by side don't have the same questions in the same order and the answers in the same order. It's more prevalent in the high school than the elementary school, but that's definitely an option. So you would create your quizzes here. Now, you can also, go ahead and close this. You can create a question bank. And when you start Canvas, Canvas is very heavy on the front end. It's very difficult to get started, but as you continue to use Canvas, that workload decreases steadily. And so this is one of those ways that you can make Canvas make your life easier as you go on. So within our quizzes, we can actually create a question bank. So instead of adding a quiz, we're going to click these 3 dots and we're going to manage our question banks. And so this is where, let me show you one I've already got set up. So I'm doing some ACT prep work. And so I've got some question banks that I've already started. So within this, under my quizzes, I've actually created several question banks. And these question banks have a bunch of ACT questions. So at the secondary level, I have 60 questions now I can choose from, and I can use any of these questions in any of my daily quizzes, Bellwork quizzes, summative assessments, and I can pick and choose. So it makes it very easy to go ahead and each year change up your questions and keep adding to your question bank. You can, depending upon the textbook that you use, some of the question banks for the textbooks can be integrated into this, and your curriculum coordinator would be able to tell you which ones and how to get those set up. So for this particular one, what I would do is I would create a quiz. I'm not going to go into new quizzes right now. That's a new feature that's been added. We're going to stick with classic quizzes just to keep it simple. So I would do this, my Monday quiz, and then when I go to add questions, I'm going to find questions from my test banks. So these are banks of questions that I've already created. So I would go into one of my banks, select the questions that I want to add, and my quiz is done. So this is, as you slowly start building this in, you can create these question banks. Now you can also share question banks with other teachers. So if you guys want to, you do 5 questions, you do 5 questions, you do 5 questions, and we combine them all together, that's going to help you reduce that workload as well. Okay. Yes, make sure that if it's asking you for the quiz engine that you use the classic quiz engine for right now. There's a bunch of information on the new quizzes, and that's an option. They've got some really great options that we'll go over in a second, but for now we'll stick with the classics. Okay, now I want to show you the different types of questions that you can add to a quiz and how those can be used at the lower elementary level. So we are going to go into Andre's More Public Schools training course, and he has created a cross-curricular quiz that contains all of the different classic quiz types, okay? So we're going to preview this quiz. It's kind of the same as the student view. Now the quiz instructions, the very first page of that quiz is where you can add words of encouragement, videos, information that the students are going to use for the quiz, or you can just do a title. These instructions are going to stay up for the entire quiz. So if there's something that you want the students to see for the entire quiz, then you can put it in that preview quiz instructions. He's got this set up to where it only shows 1 question at a time, which is probably something that you're going to want to do. This first one is your standard multiple choice. So you would just click the correct answer and move on. Don't know if that was the right answer or not. Okay, then we have standard true false questions. These are all options. As you create questions, you could use true false. Okay, then you're going to go into adding an image. So this is a multiple choice question, but the teacher decided to add an image. So in each question, you have that rich content editor. You can copy an image from another website, from your textbook, anything that you want to add. So the students would use this periodic table to answer which element has the most protons, okay? Now, this is a fill in the blank. Probably not something that you're going to use in the elementary school because it has to be typed correctly. Now, you can list multiple correct answers. So this one is actually a Van Gogh. Don't even know if I have that spelled correct. I'm a math teacher. I don't grade on spelling. But you can put common misspellings. You can put Vincent van Gogh. And so you can kind of choose a couple of different correct answers, but I probably would not use fill in the blank for this level. Same here, this is a multiple fill in the blank. So the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, miles to go before I sleep. This is another one that's really good. This is the multiple options. So in this one, there are multiple correct answers. So you would go and click in all of the correct answers for this one. Now, this is a question with no question. So this is kind of like a quiz break. So you can stop, give them a little brain break, if you will. You can add a fun little video or words of encouragement, or just, hey, go ahead and go if you need to go to the bathroom right now, or get a drink of water. So these are just especially for those early elementary kids you can do. If you are dividing your quiz into 2 parts, this would be a good place to put additional instructions. So maybe you added a video for the first 5 questions and now you're switching to a new video. You can add the new video here for continuing on for the rest of the test. So when you see the text no question, it's just a empty box that you can fill in whatever you need to. Okay, great comment here. The students need to know that if there are multiple answers, then they're going to see squares and not circles. And again, that's something that you can add to the text. So for instance, let me go back to that one because that is a great point. So on those multiple answers, see these have squares. You can put mark all the prime numbers, or you can put mark all that are applicable, or multiple options could be correct. So in those instructions, you can give little tidbits. And remember, you're going to have, for your littles, you're going to have a parental unit, some type of guardian that's there that can read some of these detailed instructions. Or you can add a little video. There may be more than one correct answer, so make sure you choose all that apply. All right, so continuing on. So this is a drop down, and this might actually be something that you guys use more at the lower elementary level. So instead of the Constitution, it could be what is today's date, and the drop down is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or you could have what color is the sky, and a couple of different colors can pop up. So you can see how some of these drop downs might be a little bit more appropriate for your little kids. This is the same thing. Okay, so here we have the Spanish, and you're going to choose the English version. So this might be really good for things like vocabulary or spelling tests. You can have the most common misspellings of a word, and they have to choose the correct spelling from a list of misspells. So this is going to be something that was probably very, let's see, buenas tardes is good afternoon, mucho gusto. I am trying. Okay. And then these are math fill in the blanks. So if you have a simple math equation, they can simply type in the correct answer for this particular one. On problems like these, when you enter the answers, you can put a range of correct answers. For elementary school, it's not that big of a deal. Once you get into the high school with rounding and trigonometry, it becomes a bigger deal. But for now, you can simply put in the answers. And so once you submit it, it's going to pop up and show you feedback. So this is a really cool option for quizzes. So remember when I told you quizzes don't have to be assessments. You can do your assignments as quizzes. It makes it self-grading, so you don't have to go through and grade them, but it also gives you the opportunity to do question-specific feedback. So here, I got the answer incorrect, and so Andre recorded a little video here that says, oh, darn, 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 you got that one incorrect. If you got the correct answer, you can put some feedback and says, you know, good writers lean heavily on the connotation of certain words and phrases. So you can do feedback by answer as you build the questions, and it will go through and tell you the correct answer and the incorrect answers. Okay, you can add an image to the feedback. So excellent, you knew it was mercury, and this is how you knew that it was mercury based on the number of protons. Okay, it will show the correct answer if they got it incorrect. So this is a really good way to do feedback. So imagine a little bit of extra work at the beginning when you first start setting these up, but then imagine where that frees you up. So now you've given a quiz that grades itself, gives feedback automatically, and syncs to Infinite Campus for grades. So once you assign it, for the most part, your job is done, because you've created that and done a little bit of legwork up at the front. So imagine starting off nice and simple, and each year you do this, being able to build a little bit on the complexity. Canvas is really going to make your job a lot simpler. Okay, so we've done assignments, we've done rubrics, we've gone through the speed grader, we've taken a look at quizzes. These are just real quick points for all of these. If you want more detailed information, I want you to go to two different places. The first place that I want you to go to is searching the Canvas guides. That's where you can type in your individual questions and get the absolute answers from Canvas in nice step-to-step with picture guides along the way. Second place I want you to go is the Training Services portal. This is where you're going to access the K through 12 First Day Ready course. And then the other place I would like for you to go is Andre's MPS Elementary Canvas Training. Or if you're in the secondary, it's going to be the MPS Canvas Training course. So these two places have videos directly from Andre on how to go through and set up assignments and set up quizzes and much more detailed information. Okay. All right, so the last thing I'm going to show you is home pages. I'm going to show you how to create a home page. So we're going to go back to our sandbox. The home page is going to be how you interact with your students. So when your students, I'm actually going to show you one of my other courses real quick. So when your students go and open up one of their courses, the home page is going to be how they see that. Okay, here's a good one. So here's the home page that I created. And so when the students start this particular one, it's going to teach them how to create a home page. This is what the students see. It looks like a website. It has clickable links. It has videos that can be attached. It has text. It has external web links. And then it has, you can add some navigation buttons. The more you can get this to look like an app or a website, the easier it's going to be for your littles to navigate it, because we all know that our littles are really good at navigating with buttons and links and apps. So we're going to use these home pages and we're going to design it like that. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be a webmaster or you have to know how to do HTML. Canvas has it set up super simple. So here's a very easy one that I made earlier. We're going to go in and we're just going to create a brand new one. So we're going to click on pages. This is the front page for this particular one. We're going to go to view all pages, and there's that plus page. So here's where we're going to create a new page. There's that blank rich content editor. We're going to make it a little bit bigger by dragging down these little buttons here. And this is a blank canvas. Now, when you format or when you build something graphic on Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, where you place an image is where it's anchored. And you can drag images around and anchor them in different spots. You cannot do this with the Rich Content Editor. So it's going to put everything left justified in a row as you type it in. What we're going to do is we're going to add a table. So here's this little icon here. We're going to click the down arrow and we're going to add a table. Now it's always better to add more cells because we can always merge those later. But what this is going to allow us to do is anchor our graphics. So for instance, if I want to create a title, I can take all of these cells at the top, highlight them, and then I can come in to these cell properties and merge them. And now I have a centered title cell. So I can do Mrs. Argenbright's. I can come in here, and this is where I can put, and you're going to hear this term a lot, buttons. I can create buttons without any of the fancy Canva. I don't have to do any of the special PowerPoint graphics. I can just do my buttons right here in this table. So let's say I wanted to have a Monday assignment, a Tuesday assignment, a Wednesday assignment, and so on. I would type these words in. I'm going to go ahead and center those. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this text. I'm going to turn it into a link, a clickable link. Now, I can link it to a couple of different things. I can link it to an external website. So if I have a Kahoot that I want them to do that day, I can link it to a Kahoot. If I have a video that I want them to watch on Khan Academy, I can link it to a Khan Academy video. Or I can link it to a course document within Canvas. So if I've already uploaded a document, I can link it in here. All right, so these are some different forms that I've already got fill-in PDFs. I can also go ahead and I can link this to different parts of Canvas. So let's see, this is course links. So instead of linking to an external website, I'm going to link it to anything within Canvas, an assignment, a quiz, another page, a module. Those are going to be called course links. So we've already created some assignments. So let's go ahead and put assignment 1 here. So now when they click on the word Monday, it's going to take them to assignment 1. On Tuesday, I want them to do the quiz that I just made. So I would drop down here. Here's that quiz I just made. So now when they click on Tuesday, it'll take them to that quiz. Wednesday, I want them to go and do another assignment. So I'm going to click one of my other assignments here. So once you get this single home page set up, and it can be as simple as Mrs. Argenbright's class, each day you click on the assignment and it takes you to that day's assignment or that day's quiz. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than this. You're going to see a lot of people come up with a lot of very creative, very fancy home pages, but it's not necessary. If you're the fancy bulletin board person, you're going to be the fancy homepage person. If you are not the fancy bulletin board person, you are not going to be the fancy homepage person. So once you get all of this done, we're going to save and publish it. Don't forget to publish. And there's a lot of different courses out there on how to set up your homepage. Once you've saved and published, oh, I have to have a title. So I'm going to do week 1. Now I can set this one up as my home page. Okay, so I already have a week 1, so it's calling it week 1, 2. If I view all of my pages, these are all of the pages that I've created within this sandbox. You can see here I have one set as the front page. That's what the students see when they log in. If I want to copy that to week 2, I can just keep copying it and changing the links. So week 1 would go to all of week 1's assignments, and then I'm going to copy that page to week 2. In week 2, all of the links would go to week 2's assignment. So you don't have to recreate this every week. So what would happen is on Monday, I would come in here and I would say, okay, we're not on week 1 anymore. We're on week 2. So I'm going to click these 3 dots and I'm going to use this one as my front page. And so now when the students sign in, they would see week 2's homepage instead of week 1. And it makes it very simple to continue throughout the year. And as you're creating all of these, remember those are still going to be there and you can copy those over for next year. So that is super important to remember as you're going through this, is to keep it very simple. And so on Monday, they would click the word Monday and it would take them to Monday's assignment. Okay. On Tuesday, they would come to the Canvas, they would click on the word Tuesday and it would take them to Tuesday's quiz. So you can have as many of these simple text links on here as you want and keep it very streamlined. All right. Rusty, do we have anything that we need to go over that's come up in the chat room, or are we doing okay? It looks like you are all over that.
Yeah, I think we're doing okay.
Fantastic. All right. Rusty's helping with the chat room. He's doing a great job on that. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, some of you might want to get a little fancy with your home pages. So we're going to get a little fancy. So let's say instead of just typing Mrs. Argenbright's class, I want to put a nice little picture up here. All right. So I'm going to go to a website called, and I know, just to make this more confusing, we have Canvas, Infinite Campus, we have Canvas, and now we are going to learn Canva. Canvas with no S. Now, there's different places that you can go. You can use Canva. There are button makers. You could use PowerPoint. Canva is what I use. And one of the things that I want to show you on this one is that they have a brand new feature called Canva for Educators, which gives you the professional account, which is normally $13 a month, for free. They're doing that because of distance learning. So you would sign up with Google and use your school email address, your single site sign-on. And once you do that, you're going to navigate to Canva for Educators and sign up for an educator's account. I've already done that, so I'm just going to log in. I'm going to log in with Google. I'm going to use my same single site sign-on with more schools. And Canva is a way to create graphics that you use on the internet. So if you look down here, you can see a couple of designs that I've created using Canva. And all of these I've created for free. You can do infographics, you can do banners, you can do presentations. So this is a really easy way to look like a web designer without being a web designer. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here to create a design. You can choose custom dimensions. You can make a flyer. The posters are pretty big. So if you have a big printer, Zoom virtual backgrounds, go absolutely nuts on this. Those are so fun. But we're just going to do a little blog banner, okay? I could, if I wanted to, come in and design this from scratch. I can choose a background color. I can add text. I can change the color of the text. I can change what the text says. I can change the location. I can change the size. You can build your own. I am not creative. I like templates. You can search the templates. Did I misspell kindergarten? There, that's easy. You can search the templates for any of these and use your own. If you like flowers, you can search for templates that have flowers. If you are doing your classroom in an owl theme, you can search for owls. Okay, so find something that you like, click on it, and then change it. You can change this background picture to add your own. You can change it from photos that are already available. So here I can come in and I can do kids. So I want to use this as my background instead of flowers. So I can go in here and I can add this as a background. I can change the text. That's really big because my name is super long, so I can change the font size. And you can just go absolutely crazy. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. Now, once I have this, it took me like 30 seconds. I'm simply going to download it and put it into my Canvas page. You can use this to make your buttons as well. So if you want like a Monday button, a Tuesday button, a Wednesday button, you can use Canva to create it. So I'm going to download it. Use PNG. That's like it's a higher quality than a JPEG. It works really good in Canvas. It's going to download it to your computer, and then you're going to be able to upload that into Canvas. Okay, so congratulations, it's saved. So I'm going to come to my sandbox. I'm going to click in the cell where I want to put my banner, and I'm going to add an image. I haven't uploaded it yet, it's still on my computer. So I'm going to upload it into Canvas. I'm going to go through, I'm going to find it. I'm going to submit that. And now I have a banner on my homepage. So that's a little bit big, so I can click on it, go to options, and I'm going to change the size a little bit. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Ooh, I overclicked. It automatically keeps the aspect ratio for me. And so now I have a nice little banner on my homepage. Okay, now, a couple of things. This table is very nice for keeping everything organized, but sometimes we don't want it to look like it's a table. So I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to choose my table properties, and I'm going to get rid of the border. I'm going to change my border width to 0. Move you guys out of the way. So now I can still see the outline of the border, but when I save this and my students see it, now they don't see any of those borders. This is how you create that web page look on your home page. Super easy. So now there's my Monday click, my Tuesday click, my Wednesday click. All right, so here's the bad part. Okay, someone says I'm gonna cry. I hope those are tears of joy because it looks easy. But one of the things that makes this really easy is, and kind of frustrating as well, and I know this, we're teachers, is you're going to get off of this, you're going to get onto your computer, and you're going to spend the next 3 hours on Canva trying to get everything absolutely perfect. I know you're more public school teachers. It's just who we are. Have fun with it. Don't get frustrated with it. If you start to get frustrated and it's not doing something that you think it should be doing, or you can't figure out how to do something that you want to do, I want you just to stop, take a break, and I want you to do what we ask the students to do. I want you to Google it. I want you to search for a YouTube video. I want you to email edtech@moreschools.com, MPS EdTech. I want you to email Rusty or I. But do not spend, my rule of thumb is, do not spend more than 10 minutes trying to learn something new. If you can't figure it out on your own in 10 minutes, seek extra help. Be resilient, find it from somebody else. Okay, I'm not going to read that last comment because we're recording this. But I want you to have fun with this, okay? So let me show you a couple of homepage designs that we've done for some of our distance learning and show you just how easy and how simple it can be. So here's some of our pre-AP distance learning that we did. So this was one of our homepages. We just, in Canva, we created a little infographic up at the top, and we created a table. And within that table, we had links to the assignments. We had the topics that were covered. If we had a Google form or Microsoft form to check in, this would be a link. And we kept it super simple. And each week, so if we view all of the pages, then for each day, we would have like a page for the notes. So for week 1, we would have Friday notes and activities. For Thursday's assignment, it would just link to an assignment. Let me show you a couple. This is the standard geometry. Let me show you the pre-AP one. But this is one thing that you can do also is you can walk through some of the stuff on Canvas Commons, and you can take a look at some of the other designs and get some ideas. Even if you don't like the content, you may just want to copy over someone's homepage. So here's week 2 similarity. So again, we created this graphic in Canva. We had links to all of the notes for each day, the assignments for each day, extra credit, links to our tutoring times, our Zoom meetings. And it was just super simple. It was texts that we added links to. These were pages, and these were assignments. It does not have to be super, super fancy. Okay, so it is almost 3 o'clock. I think we've got all of the questions answered. Is there anybody that had a question that didn't get it into the chat, or anything that you thought we should touch on as a whole?
Wendy, Kelly had brought up about adding videos into Canva, and it charged $5. Do you know if that happens on the premium?
The Pro does not charge you for animated Canva, but be careful. Sometimes what I will do, because that's a good point, I haven't figured out all of the things that this animate button up here normally charges you, but with the educators, it's free. So you can do some simple animation on your graphics. When you download it, instead of a JPEG, it's going to download it as a video. Try, as you add stuff, don't get too far into it, go to the download, and if it says that it's going to charge you, this is the spot where it tells you it's going to charge you money. Sometimes it waits all the way to the end. So if you wanted to do something like that and just double check, just hit that download every once in a while as you add something new. But it looks like under the educator's account, even the animations are going to be free. Now, another thing with the educator's account is that it allows you to set up classes. So just like Kahoot or Quizlet, you can create a Canva for your students. So if you're doing computer specials in the elementary, or if you're doing art, you can even start introducing them to some graphic art. This could be part of your curriculum as well, and you can set the kids up with free accounts. But as a whole, anything, okay, what proof of employment did you use to upload your Canva? I used my teacher ID card. It has to say teacher on it. If it says administrator or para, they're not going to give you that account. It has to say teacher. But any account that you sign up for over the summer, make sure you sign up for a teacher account, free teacher account, because if this goes into another distance learning, what we found out is that corporations are automatically upgrading teacher accounts to paid accounts. So if you have already done that ahead of time and shown them that you are a teacher and signed up for it, you're going to find that as we get further and further into this, you're going to get a lot of instant perks from this. So finally, teacher discounts. All right, anything else? Okay, so don't forget to put your name in the chat to make sure that you get PD points for this. Don't forget to copy the YouTube playlist at the very beginning of the chat. And I can show you that right here. So the last 2 sessions, I've gone ahead and uploaded to my EdTech trainings playlist. So I will go ahead and put that in again so you don't have to scroll all the way up. So there's a link to that playlist. So this afternoon, today's session will be in there. and you can slow it down, because I know I go super fast and there's a lot of steps. And so you can go back and kind of pause this and rewind as you need to become an expert on this. All right, anybody feeling completely overwhelmed yet? Yes, absolutely. The first step is very overwhelming. And some of this, especially for us in the secondary level, did not start to make sense until we had a student account and we can see how to interact with it. So that, that first week is going to be very eye-opening, very discovering, you're going to see how stuff works and stuff interacts. And as you start working with it, with students, and seeing that interaction, it's going to make a lot more sense. There's just no good way to demonstrate that without live students. And just remember that you're going to mess up, and you're going to tell your students that there's an assignment, but there's not going to be an assignment, and you're going to forget to publish stuff, and the students and the parents are going to be very understanding, and we're going to be very understanding. And you'll call your teammate and go, I've tried everything I know. I don't know how to fix this. And they're gonna be like, oh, I did that last week. Let me show you. So lean on each other, lean on us. Google is your friend. The Canvas guides are fantastic. We'll get through this, promise. All right, I'll leave the chat open for a little bit to make sure that everybody gets their name in there. And good luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 2.
Hey, Wendy, I had a question on the Canva. I already had a free account. How
Okay.
do I change that over?
If you will, I will put the link up here. So there's a link at the bottom of this page. There it is, register now for free. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat as well. And that's where you can click even if you have an account to go ahead and sign up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, great question. Anybody else? All right. Hey, we got it through with no disruptions today. That's pretty awesome. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.